Hello and welcome to another video presentation of Microsoft Project. This one on the Team Planner view, which is a graphical resource-based representation of projects that was introduced in version 2010. I will log in now to my project server and build you a plan from scratch so you can see what this view has to offer. I will perform this demo with a load summary resource assignments enabled here in order to be able to see the other project and commitments our resources have in projects other than our own, or those which are not open. Doing so will help us avoid over-allocating our project team members. I'm presently in the Gantt chart view, which happens to be my default view when I launched Microsoft Project. We can also see the menu tabs above and the associated ribbons, which are context sensitive. We will be using these items shortly. Notice I have nothing entered yet. I'm going to use the view bar to navigate to the Team Planner view and start doing my planning there. This is the Team Planner view. I will explain it to you a bit at a time. Let's start doing so by creating a new task. From the task ribbon, I will select the task button within the insert group and I will select the task verb from this drop-down. Notice that I also have the option to import Outlook tasks. Now, at the bottom of my screen, you will see a new task with a 1-day duration placed in the unassigned task pane near the bottom of the screen. By default, Project also places new tasks on the project start date, Thursday, September 7th, 2017, and happens to be denoted by a vertical green line in my timescale portion of my view. You will also notice gray shaded bars, primarily on Saturday and Sunday. Those are my project's non-working days, and by default, no work is performed on those days by my resources. Also worthy of mention, as can be seen here on the bottom left, that my new tasks are auto-scheduled. That means that the finish dates are calculated based on the start date of my task and its duration, as opposed to leaving those blank and having to manually enter them like one would if using Excel to enter such information. Next, I will add my resources from my resource pool using Build Team from Enterprise. I will go ahead and select 3 resources: Aaron Painter, Adam Barr, and Barney Kearney. There are also lots of useful features in this particular interface that I could use if I wanted to, like looking for people that would be available a certain amount of hours within a given date range so that I can find people who are available and avoid over-allocating them. If you are interested in learning more about this feature, have a look at my resource management video. Once the resources have been selected, click OK, and in the Team Planner view, we will see them listed in the upper left window pane. At this point, I'm going to save this project plan with the name Team Planner View Demo. Here, you can also add project level metadata to your project to facilitate any reporting that may be required later. Upon clicking Save, make sure that you see the message Save Completed Successfully. You will also notice that a couple of my resources have turned red. This is because they're over-allocated on other projects. This is obvious because I have not yet assigned them in any tasks in this particular project. Here I will edit the task that I created for you a few moments ago and define it using effort. I will enter 48 hours of effort, which is equivalent to 6-person working days. My system is set up with a working day consisting of 8 hours. However, you are free to set it up differently to meet your needs. Also note, you can also enter duration or effort estimate values down to the minute if required, or in weeks, etc. To do this, I will add the resource form to the bottom of the screen by going to the Details button within the Properties button in the Resource ribbon. Allow me to organize the screen by reducing the height of the horizontal split and moving up the unassigned task pane to organize my screen a little better. There are several formats for this resource form. Currently, Schedule is set, and this one displays the start and finish dates for the selected assignment, in this case the new task. And we also have, as you can see from this menu, work, person effort, and cost, etc. Let us switch to work and enter an estimate of 48 hours there. In this format, we can see that the work fields are more detailed. They include actual and remaining work, which are helpful when maintaining plans up to date. Here's where I enter my 48 hours of effort. Now I will drag the new task, which I have not renamed yet, straight up and assign this task to Adam Barr by dropping it in on his timescale. Note, I'm free to position it wherever I want on his timescale. Also, hovering on the selected task as I'm doing here, will pop up a note and provide some additional information about the task. Once assigned, I can see in the resource form split now that the task is assigned to Adam and that he has 96 hours worth of other projects and commitments as well, between August 15th through March the 3rd, 2016. Let's go back to the schedule resource form to see the dates where those other closed project files are scheduled. These dates are not currently formatted to fit optimally in these columns, so allow me to show you how I can reformat them by either resizing the width of these columns and or going to the options window and setting a different format in which to display these dates throughout. With the new formatted dates, let me scroll through and see other projects and commitments. Now for Aaron Painter, I see February the 1st, 2016 to October 2nd, 2019. We can also see the integration with Office. And as for Bonnie Kearney, we see her other project commitments beginning October 15th, 2013 through to September 10th, 2015, and that's behind our current project start date. Also, we can see that she has been set up in the sales and marketing group and can have costs associated to her labor. At the moment, these fields are not populated. Now, hovering over Aaron Painter's timescale, we can see the pop-up with regards to the other projects and commitments shown in a lighter gray spanning right across his timescale here on the screen. Makes sense since we said February the 1st, 2016 through October 2nd, 2019 were his other commitments. Let's explore this a bit by working the screen layout. First, let me close the resource form here below. Now let's change the timescale in the view ribbon. As you see, we are currently set up to display in days. The options we have are listed here, down to hours and quarter days, and as high as half years and in years. Let's see quarter days. Well, the so-called new task disappeared. No problem. I'll just click the scroll to task feature that I've added and customize my quick access toolbar with, which will cause my task for that row to snap into my screen no matter where they are off on that screen. Let's change the timescale now to months instead. And again, to quarters. Now, in these timescale formats, we can see the other project and commitments much better. If I scroll back just a little, I will be able to show you highlighted by a red outline around Aaron Painter's overallocation situation there at the beginning of the timeline in Q2 of 2016. Leveling is currently configured to manage overallocations on a day-by-day basis. This means that in the particular period, Aaron has more than 8 hours of work on at least one day during that period. If we change the threshold to month by month, you will notice how all of our resources are no longer in red. That means there's no overallocations if we manage their capacity at the monthly level of about 150 to 160 hours per month. Let's see what happens with week by week. Yep, overallocated. That means there's more than 40 hours worth of work in that period in a given week. Now, let us put it back to day by day and continue. But if you want to learn more about leveling, please see my video on that subject. If I may, I will double click on the other projects and commitment bars, which will allow me to get a bit more detail with regards to the project that Aaron is assigned to. I will answer yes to the prompt. You can see that Microsoft project has expanded details and there are 3 tasks that have stacked up in the same period. Hovering over these bars reveals the pop-up and gives us information about those bars, which happen to be specific projects that Aaron is assigned to. Unfortunately for closed files, that is as much details that we can see as indicated by the message we get when trying to drill down into these closed projects. If you have the permissions to do so, you can surely open them up and have a detailed view of tasks as we are in the process of creating some here. I'm going to go back to my day-by-day timescale view and use the scroll to task to snap back to where my new task is and show you how we provide a different name. Right-click it and select information from the menu. I'll name this as Do the First Task. I will go again and add another task like before to demonstrate some more features, but this time I will title it my second task. But instead of entering person effort like before, this time I will demonstrate using the duration field, and I will enter 6 days. Note I'm free here as well to enter my estimates in hours, minutes, weeks, etc. Now, I will assign the second task by dragging it to Adam's row. Notice I've over allocated Adam because there's an overlap of assignments on his timescale. A fairly poor workaround to help you in avoiding overallocations is by setting up dependencies between tasks. To do so, once again, select the task you wish to serve as the successor, click the predecessor tab, and choose a dependency from the list and click OK. And there you are. As I said, not my preferred way to avoid overallocations, especially when the tasks are not logically dependent on each other. Given the dependency, if I move the first task, the second task, that is the successor, will follow suit, and regardless who I assign it to. Well, that's enough of that. I will use the undo to put these two new tasks back into an overallocation situation for Aaron. In the resource ribbon, you can select level resource, and it will help you resolve overallocations for selected resources. And here's the result, but without doing it with a logical dependency. Notice Adam bar is no longer displayed in red. Let's undo this and try something else. From the Format ribbon, I can select Prevent Overallocations when using this particular view. With this feature turned on, I will create yet a third new task and try to see what happens when I try to assign to Adam in a period where he's already assigned to something else. Notice the latest task? It causes the other two to make way and thus delay the ones that were previously scheduled during that period. No matter what I do, Microsoft Project will work now to ensure that I don't overallocate my resources. Well, how powerful is that? What happens if I move one of these tasks to Aaron's timescale? It disappeared. Well, not quite. It simply got delayed to where Aaron had some availability and was not busy on other project commitments. One feature I would like to disable here to give us some additional real estate is the unscheduled task, given that we are using the automated scheduling task mode. This will make the column to the right of the resource names collapse. Next, let's navigate to a task-based view. The Gantt chart is a good one. From this view, I'm going to create some summary rows to help us organize and group our 3 different tasks under headings similar to deliverables and subdeliverables using summary rows. Now, returning to the Team Planner view, I can use the roll-up drop-down that is at the beginning of the formatting window and have the tasks labeled according to logical work breakdown hierarchy that was established in the Gantt chart. I'll return to the Gantt chart once again so that I may assign an additional resource to the task that we assigned to Aaron. With the task selected, returning to the Gantt chart, I maintain my selection and I can see that only Aaron is assigned. I will use the Assign Resources window to do this because in passing I want to make mention of the Available to Work feature. Like I mentioned while demonstrating the Build Team from Enterprise, this window can also assist me to find available resources without over-allocating them, along with some other benefits that this Assign Resources window can provide. Again, for more details, watch those videos I already mentioned. I'll move the window slightly out of the way so we can see what is going to take place behind it once I select the resource item bar and click Assign. You'll notice the Gantt chart bar here on row 3 has been split. Why? Let's add the task usage view and see under the hood, so to speak. Positioning the bars into view and looking at the bottom portion of the screen, you can see how half the original 6-day effort was transferred to Adam, who is now assigned and sharing Aaron's workload on that activity. I will close the split view and take you back one last time to the Team Planner view to see it from that perspective. Here I have split the screen and added the task form to demonstrate that I can assign, allocate, and distribute the work to my team in whichever amount I wish. Now in this scenario, perhaps we underestimate the effort and we would like to increase it a day each for each individual that's assigned to our first task. I will go ahead and make the edits below and click OK. Well, that's the end of my presentation, folks, of the Team Planner View. I hope you enjoyed it. If you wish to ask me a question or like my help on how to implement and integrate Microsoft Project into your organization, please feel free to contact me. Bye for now.